Welcome to Real Talk 447, where we talk supercross, motocross, motorcycles, everything and beyond. I'm Jeff Emig, and I am joined coming all the way from Tallahassee, Florida, Ricky Carmichael. Where you at, buddy? There you are. How's things down there?
Rolling along. I'm actually excited to talk to you. We're going to have a great show today. I'm bummed because my microphone, I went out, got a microphone. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. And I ran out of talent trying to set it up.
Oh, dude. You know what the Twitter sphere is going to do to you now.
Oh, dude. It's,
I mean,
you guys, what, blah, blah, blah. Oh, well.
Well, good thing you didn't procrastinate on it.
Well,
and get it done last Tuesday when I told you what to go buy. You could even gone on Amazon or something, go to some place and get a discount on it.
Well, I mean, I learned from the best. My time management isn't as good as it should be.
Dude. So, yeah, dude, I got more than that complaint, though. Driving down here in Orange County today.
Yeah?
I mean, you know how, I'm probably the best driver in the world. But, dude, why do people not get out of the fast lane? Why do they drive in the fast lane? There's like 3 lanes, and the slow people drive in the left lane. I just got to get this off my chest right now. Move to the right.
If they're not,
get out of the freaking fast lane.
I mean, you should live in Florida and see how it is. I mean, people drive fast automatically in California. So, I mean, but the thing is you drive fast a lot. So, I mean, they probably, I guarantee you the people the person you're talking about or the people you're talking about were exceeding the speed limit 100%.
Okay. So even if you're going the speed limit and you're in the fast lane and there's clear lanes to the right, clearly the way that traffic is designed is that the slower traffic, you move to the right. You pass, you go to the right. I mean, you ever been to England or someplace? If you pass somebody on one of the slower lanes, you get the bird for not like going behind them. Like they move over. Granted, they move to the left in England, but you get my point. They get out of the way. I mean, if you do that in Germany on the Autobahn, you'll get blasted.
Well, to all of our listeners, I want you guys to know something. This guy that is hosting this show is one of the most crazy drivers that I ever ride with.
No.
If you want to get car sick, he's your man to ride with.
Dude, you get car sick rides at Disneyland. Okay.
I do.
Yeah. So you're not one of them. Maybe both of us this should be a subject that we don't cover.
Dude,
hey, I
honestly,
know it.
You're always in a hurry, so it just drives me nuts.
I am.
Chill out.
I'm in a hurry, but I am a very good driver.
Okay.
I got 2 tickets that I'm dealing with right now. Remember the one I got at your place last year?
Yeah.
Dude, I was doing like 88 and like a 40 or something. Yeah. I got pulled over this one time. I was coming back from Loretta's, and I'm hauling ass to get home to see the kids, and I had like a night flight. I come out of the fast track lanes on the 91, and I get pulled over, and a motorcycle cop, of all people, pulls over. He walks up next to me, and I'm going, this is bad. Like I'm doing like 98 or something, right? The guy goes like, well, I know you can't see me yet, Ricky, but he just puts his hands up. He just looks at me and is like, I just hand him, I don't even say anything. And then he comes back. He says, hey, do you know Officer Leffenwell? I said, yeah, Sean's my neighbor. He has in his fingers, he has my insurance card and my driver's license. And he goes, you need to slow down. And then he walked away. I was literally doing like 100 miles an hour. Totally let me off.
Dude, hey, everybody,
just
don't
disgusted.
let Jeff fool you, dude. Only 100 miles an hour. That's his normal pace.
Well, there was some people in my way, so I had to slow down.
All right.
Hey, I know you're not gonna believe it right now, but I'm gonna give you a compliment. I want to start the show, and I didn't put it on your rundown because I didn't want you to see it. I clipped it.
Okay.
So I thought you looked pretty sharp on the NBC broadcast last week. You actually had a pocket square going.
Well,
dude,
you're
had
bringing
a pocket
square the last, I think,
maybe it's like falling down in your pocket, but I really noticed it. Was it Paisley or something?
Yeah, it was. But dude, I've had pocket squares since the second round.
Yeah.
100%.
All All right. Well, I was paying more attention to what you were saying than your pocket square. Well, anyway, okay. So then my compliment goes all the way back to the second round.
Thanks.
Is that you look good? You're very, very stylish. Obviously, you're not doing that on your own, and your lady's helping you out.
Oh, 100%, dude, without a doubt.
Are you colorblind like the rest of us,
Well,
or like me?
my vision is going bad, but I'm not colorblind yet, so
Dude,
I got that going.
I got to wear these things, dude. I can't see shit anymore.
You're a nugget. Let's go.
So we just had. You want to jump into some racing? We got all kinds of stuff going. We got like listener questions.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some fun. So, round 8 of Monster Energy Supercross from Detroit was a triple crown. So, we've had 5 total now in the last couple years. So first off, I want to get your thoughts on whether what do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you like having the change? Should they all be that way? Should we do away with it? Where are you at with it?
I love the Triple Crown format. It produces great racing. Several reasons I like it. One, I think for the viewer, the fans at the races, you get to watch the best guys race against each other 3 times. There's 3 main events in one night per class. So I like it. I think it builds suspense. You know, it's a game of averages. How consistent can the guys be? It puts a lot of pressure on the guys. And like I said, the racing is good. And just with the Olympic scoring, you know, Austin Faulkner won last year the Triple Crown in Atlanta, and he didn't even win a race. I mean, that's fun, man. It's just suspenseful. I like that, and I think it's great. I don't think the whole series needs to be Triple Crown formats, but I think what they're doing, you know, putting them at certain markets, I think is really good.
Yeah, so this year, leading into this race, Supercross Research Department had to go to a ball game this week, so he's a little bit late on getting the book to us. But McElrath's 1-1, Nichols and Ferrandis there on the West Coast. And of course, this was the first East Coast one, and one rider won them all, first time ever.
Yeah. That's Austin Faulkner. You know, not much to say other than that guy is on rails. You know, I don't want to spend too much time talking about the race. We got some fun content to talk about today. It's incredible what he's been able to do. His starts are just so good. He's riding well. On top of that, he's going to be hard to beat. I'm excited this weekend for the showdown, the East and the West guys. It's going to be fun. I know a lot of people are banking on AC and Austin to take it, but they shouldn't sleep on other riders' skills. You know, it could be anybody. Dylan Ferrandis could win. Shane McElrath could win. Colt Nichols could win. There's a bunch of guys that I'm not naming that could go out there and have one of the best races of the season for them. And there's a lot of pride on the line. You know, there's a lot of pride on the line with these guys. They want to show their competitors who is best. And it's going to be something to watch for sure.
Yeah, so I had some people hit me up on social media saying, oh, you know, and of course we know there's the haters out there that you know, have their own opinions and sometimes a little bit negative, but they're saying Faulkner's got it easy because guys like Jeremy Martin, Christian Craig, who are supposed to ride the East, are not riding. Well, once we get to Atlanta this next weekend, all of a sudden we'll get to see where they're at, because we put them all together.
Yeah, it's a shame they're trying to, you know, some haters throwing shade to Faulkner. Definitely bumming that Martin and Christian are hurt, but you know what? It's unfortunate. That's part of our sport.
I mean, you can only race who's there. You can't race people that aren't there. Like, it's not his deal,
yeah.
But he's got a perfect opportunity here when we get to Atlanta to see how he shapes up against the West Coast, right? So
yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great race to watch, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so Supercross class has been so competitive this year. Things have been very, very close, and we're going to get into some close lap times and stuff later on here in the show, but I wanted to start with Tomac, He's now had his 23rd career win.
Yeah.
He's won 23 of 88 main events he's been in, which is 26% win. And but more importantly, he's won 3 of the 5 Triple Crowns. He's won the overall. And why do you think that he's been so good in these events like this?
It's crazy because when you think about it, and he's not the best starter in the world. And so that really, this format seems like it would be a challenge for him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was, because he was up front in the first 2, and then he blew a start the the third one. Sorry.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, the guy was moving this weekend. No one was on his level. What an incredible ride, that first main event, to come through from 11th on the first lap, to come back and pass Justin Brayton there with a lap and a half to go. Great job.
So his start, the first one, really wasn't that good either.
No, he was 11th, I think, on the first lap. So definitely not a great start. Make it quick. He rode incredible. That's the kind of rides that we expect from Eli Tomac all the time. It would be great to see him be able to do that every weekend. If he does that, he's going to put himself right in the perfect position for points to take it down to Vegas. So that's going to be fun. I feel like he's plenty capable of going on a run. We know that. And is this the start of the run? We're about to find out. Didn't know that Ken Roxon was feeling ill and under the weather until I saw his Instagram post. Kind of wish we knew that if we did. And I didn't know it started in Dallas also. Those guys kind of keep that stuff close to their vest. If we had known that, what an incredible ride he has had the last 2 weeks, considering those circumstances. So it's disappointing sometimes when we can't hear about that kind of stuff, because us as analysts, and you know this, Jeff, you don't know. They don't say anything. So you're like, dude, guy's just off tonight.
They don't tell us anything ever. No. And that was actually one of our listener questions. I'll see if I can pull it up that I didn't have. I wasn't going to use, but it's a great point. I did broadcast for 12 years, and it's like, okay, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to get the story. I'm going to get, hey, what's your bike setup? What's this? Who's injured? They don't tell you shit ever. And so then after a while, you're like, okay, you go to track walk and the guys, kind of, hum and haw around and just kind of give you kind of, especially when it matters, nobody tells you anything. And a great example was at the Vegas finals in 2018, Anderson, right, was totally sick, food poisoning on Friday night, goes to Vegas to wrap up the Monster Energy Supercross title, and he gets a 5th. Okay, nothing lackluster, cruises around, gets his points, wins the title. I did the same thing the one time that I won it. Well, then I find out right after the race, that he had food poisoning all night, and anyone's had food poisoning, you know what I'm getting at. So not only does he have to deal with food poisoning, most people want to stay home from work, or they want to lay in bed or do whatever. You spend a lot of time in other rooms of the house. But then he had to go perform as a professional athlete in Supercross. So now all of a sudden, you put into perspective, this fifth place finish is way more impressive than just, he milked it to the title. The fact that he could even get on a motorcycle and ride at that level to get a 5th was incredible. And the story would have been totally different, but we never find this shit out until afterwards.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. And so then it comes across as you're like not being respectful to the rider, and because you're just thinking if he's 100%, nothing's wrong, and all he has tonight is 6th place, 5th place, whatever it might be, 4th place, then all of a sudden you hear it after the fact. You're like, dude, we could have portrayed you as to be a hero considering the conditions that you're racing under. So it's frustrating. It's part of it. I've been there. You've been there. And so just so everyone knows, the reason these guys, in my opinion, don't tell these kind of things, because they're so worried about giving an advantage to their competitor. And I used to think the same thing. I'm like, oh, dude, I hurt myself this weekend. I don't want to tell anyone. I don't want anyone knowing. Well, So switch that around. And if someone told me that, let's just say if Reedy was hurt, going into a weekend, when we were racing, I wouldn't be like, okay, I'm going to completely change my race strategy. I'm just thinking, sweet, I have a really good opportunity to win tonight. And maybe it won't be as hard as it normally is. So you really don't change your race strategy, but what it can do, this is where it can work reverse, is if your competitor's hurt, but then he goes out, and a lot of times Chad Reed did this. I always would find out that he was a little injured up or banged up. I'm thinking of back in right before Daytona that one year, and I'm thinking, oh man, this is going to be great. Well, dude, then the guy has the most incredible ride of his life, and I'm thinking, dude,
where was your best race when you were
100%? Yeah. And he's catching my ass.
Where was your best race when you were sick?
That ruins you mentally.
Yeah.
And so I guess my point is like, dude, just it doesn't make a difference. I've been there, lived it. These guys aren't going to change their game plan based on if you're beat up a little bit, So anyhow, I hate calling a race when I don't know the facts, and I don't, I'm not giving the guy the credit. I mean, if you're hurt, you're sick, and you go out like you use Anderson as an example, what an incredible ride. There's not a lot of guys that can do that, man. Yeah. I mean, that's what a heroic ride.
Yeah. Hey, so it was BI MotoFab
yeah.
on Instagram that sent me that. Explain your views and opinions why teams and riders hide injuries. But so what was I've got some great examples here. One for myself. Remember, you're probably too young to remember this, but Bob Hanna was sick with the flu one time.
Yeah.
Before Daytona. And he goes out and whoops their ass. And there's this famous photo where like the finish line was just like a flat straightaway. There's a guy like with a checkered flag standing there, right? And he's got an open face helmet, and Hanna, black dirt all over his face, right? His whole mouth and everything's black from that sand there. And he's looking back, smiling, right? Teeth just all white, just nothing but just white teeth sticking out. And he's looking back, laughing at the competition because he was like, Keith McCarty told me, he's like, he wasn't even sure he was going to race, and then he goes out and blows them away. Right? I mean, did you have a race like that where you were totally sick?
Yeah, so, well, you remember, never, like, knock on wood, I never had food poisoning yet in my life. I'm sure it's going to be
ever?
Right. Now that I said something, I'm going to get it.
Ever?
Not that
I vaguely remember both of us getting some food poisoning when I was back there Labor Day weekend.
Yeah. Well, I'm not so sure.
It wasn't the food?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the chicken wings were bad or something that I was barbecuing up. Who knows?
Oh, my God.
The only time that I was really battling was when I had 2001, the outdoor series, irritable bowel syndrome. But there were several weeks that I didn't know that I had it, and I was trying to find out what was going on. I had really bad abdominal cramping, so much as like during the between motos, I was in the bathroom, okay, on the toilet, and it was I couldn't recover. I couldn't get anything down. It just was.
I'd say that falls into the same category.
Yeah, so where I finally got it buttoned up, I say buttoned up, where it was the last time I ever had that problem, was Troy 2001. Was just buckled over between motos. I didn't think I was going to be able to race the second moto. I told the guys, I said, dude, just take my bike down there. I may be down there. I may not. I couldn't stop going to the bathroom. So anyhow,
you're like, I'm afraid to get up.
Hey, no. So listen. So I get going, right?
Did you wear a diaper or anything? One of those adult diapers?
I think I ended up third, and we had about 5 minutes left, 3 laps left, I think it was, and the cramps started coming again, and I'm like, oh man, and I just say, you know what?
Here it comes.
I'm tired. I've been holding it for these 5-6 races up to this. No, I'm not getting any relief. Dude, screw it. I let it go, bud. I just let it go. I did it 3 times in 2 laps. 3 times in 2 laps. I made the podium that day. I can't remember. I think I got second overall. I can't remember.
Okay.
And anyhow, I didn't even stop the podium. Went straight to the hauler. I was on straight to the hauler. Put my bike down, straight in my motorhome, and then it was toast. Later,
I'm gonna do a highlight clip for social media with this.
Yeah, it was 2001 is when it was. Troy, Ohio.
Man. Well, mine's not mine. I was just sick. I was leading a 250 motocross, which is now 450 in 97, and I'm Unadilla. So I'm driving out to the track with Phil Lawrence, and I'm totally sick. Cold, flu, like summertime when you're sick and it's hot, it's just miserable. And I'm like, man, I hope I just don't lose too many points today. Well, I go out. John Dowd and I have this epic battle, both motos. I end up winning both motos. And Phil Lawrence comes over to the rig, and he's like, just don't want to lose too many points, right? Laughing about it. And I'm just, yeah, I don't know. You find a way to get it done, I guess. So anyway, Ken had a good ride there. Like you said, I mean, it's a bit off of where I'm sure that he wants to be with his results. What did he go?
He got 4th, right? 4th overall, or was it 5th?
4th overall. He got 4th. Yeah, 5.65 for 4th, but
yeah. So anyhow, I hope he starts feeling better, and I look for him to be healthy, and I expect him to be right there where he's always been all season long. Cooper Webb, I went out on the limb. Dude. The guy was off. He was really slow getting into the whoops. He was slow on the Dragon's back, really, like throughout practice. And I even text you, Jeff. I said, dude, this is one of those nights going back to you just got to do what you got to do. He did it. He got a better start than most of the guys at his, let's see here, better than Eli, better than Marvin, and better than Ken pretty much every race. Yep. That's what you got to do on nights where you don't have the speed. You at least got to start. You got to start.
That was every night for me.
Yeah, every night, right. So, and then you kind of just, you just try to minimize the damage. And by
he
God,
battled.
He almost won the damn thing. So it'll be fun to see how he responds. I think Tomac might get on a heater here and go for a little run maybe.
Yeah, that would be exciting. It
is.
I guess in that point with Triple Crown has the ability to see that. I think obviously for some of the privateers and some of the support team riders, the real pressure is on before NBC starts to broadcast because they have to qualify for the top 22. Yeah. So Anyway, so another rider who's had his 245th start, Chad Reed, makes his 132nd career podium. 132 podiums. You and I only raced 115 main events. He's had 132 podiums. That's just and the fans love it. By the way, that's a 54% podium rate. And I should make note here that our guy RC, out of 115 starts, main event starts, you had 87 podiums. That's 75.65% of the time is what the research department's telling us, SX Research Department on Instagram. You made the podium 3/4 of the time. That's just incredible.
I'm pissed I didn't get it more than that.
I bet mine might not be 25%. So anyway, that's I got a title. Yeah. So talk about Reed and making that podium. I mean, he had a pretty good night, and this is one of those things where starts and putting yourself in a good position, which has really been his forte his whole career, really worked to his advantage.
Well, yeah, he started up front and he rode well. The whoops were very challenging. That's one of his strong suits. Doesn't surprise me. When we were on the track walk earlier in the day, he was talking about how excited he was, and he's actually giving me shit. And he's saying, "Hey, RC, what if this was like 2003? You'd be so bummed right now looking at the whoops, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I would." just a little jab in there. We have good fun. We actually had dinner on Friday night, so maybe it was the dinner that we had together is why he rode.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, wait, didn't you win the title in 03?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
However, we should have him on the show sometime. We got a list. We're going to start adding some guests in, but
by the way, the guests, I'm telling you right now, the guests we're having on next week, we're going to keep it quiet until everyone is going to love who we have on the show next week. And he is going to have some stories that people are going to like, and it's going to be exciting. Our first guest is going to be good.
Unsuspected. Nobody's going to guess this, but
No.
So congratulations to Reed. It was really popular.
Good
The
job,
fans are
Reed.
loving it.
Good job, Reed. Yeah. So to answer your question, I think that in situations like that, he just has so much experience. He knows how to position himself where he needs to be. And that's years of experience right there coming into play also.
Awesome. Well, one rider that had a pretty good ride, the final race, left with a little slap on the wrist by the American Motorcyclists Association, which is our governing body, Justin Barcia.
I saw Justin at the airport. We flew home together, and he got a written warning for his pass on Blake Baggett in the third main event.
Well, we talked about this yesterday. I think yesterday morning we had this conversation. So late last night when I was watching the race back, I watched the pass, and it was like, he tapped Baggett. Baggett made a good move by not staying in the turn. He kind of like popped out, went in between the tough blocks, kept himself on two wheels, which we've complained about, or criticized guys like Roxon for just not realizing this there. Baggett was aware of it. You've got Barcia behind you. It's on a track that if you're not significantly faster than the other riders like Tomac was, it's kind of hard to pass. And he came in and he kind of got him with the front wheel, or tapped his front wheel a little bit. I didn't think it was anything that big.
I mean, it definitely wasn't anything that big. He followed Blake Baggett for a couple laps, tried to make a couple moves, and just didn't do it. There were plenty of opportunities where he could have been way more aggressive. The written warning thing, I don't know if it's, I think that's a little aggressive. Once again, it was. There's not enough consistency there. It's inconsistent to other moves that I saw that night from other riders. I'm glad I'm not in that position, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, and does a rider's past have something to do with it? I mean, obviously he had the nickname Bam Bam from back in his 250 days and even up into the 450s.
Unfortunately, I think it does. So he got a written warning. You guys know what that means. He's not. I mean, he's basically he can't touch anyone at this point for the rest of the season, I'm guessing.
Or he's getting fined, a suspension.
Yeah, I mean, so going to be hard to do that when these tracks. I think like Feld, we talked about this. I know people are going to really hate on me for this, especially the riders, but the tracks they seem easy. However, I feel like they've got a good balance right now on making it close for everyone. There's not a lot of separation. However, you still see guys making mistakes. The tracks get ruddy. They get technical. There might not be tough jumps and hard rhythm sections to do, but the conditions of the track is what becomes very, very tricky for these guys, especially as they get into the main event. So it's too easy.
I love it. I love it when the track goes away.
But there's challenging parts of the track. I think there's a good balance there with the times being so close. And this is where I'm going to talk about Barcia is you're going to have to make moves like he made. Not always is it going to be a layup shot to get by someone, like it's not always just going to be able to pass a guy without using up the track. I'm not saying you need to use up the guy you're passing and blow him off the track, but you're going to have to, a lot of times, use up all the space you got.
Yeah.
And I think I don't think that move was out of the out of the box. I think it was okay. Was it aggressive? Yeah, but he followed the dude. He needed to get by him, and it was for the main event lead.
If anybody else makes it, well, with the exception of Bowers, because they're like the hot topic from 2 weeks ago, but anybody else makes a pass like that, it's a non-call. We wouldn't even be talking about it. So it's so unfair, right? Like I didn't, we talk about it every week. Like I don't mind if you got to take the line away from a guy, you got to take the line away. But he didn't even put him down, and yet he gets a written warning. And now how does this affect him? He's like, shit, the whole second half of the season, I can't even touch a guy, or I'm going to be worried about, being either penalized or disqualified. I mean, that changes the whole mindset.
Look at it this way. Baggett shut the door on Savashi up the face of that double. I mean, that could have been horrible.
Yeah.
And he cut him off. So we watched that on the broadcast.
Do the racers need to be governed, or can we govern ourselves? Can we, how like in the NHL, like, yes, there are some rules, but they allow fighting and stuff, and then they break it up. But it's like you rough up one of our guys, the other guy, the enforcer dude, he's gonna come in and knock your block off, right? Yeah. Granted, it doesn't have to be that, but
yeah, I don't, man. It's just it was
okay.
They're running up front. I don't know. No one went down.
Okay,
he had to go. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna call you out on that. Well, I don't know if I'm calling you out, but when you were in your prime, when things really came together, you got very, very sensitive about riders being like riding rough with you. You demanded their respect, and you demanded that they race you straight up, right, fair and square, like type of thing. And looking back on it, it's like, well, yeah, James was usually, well, sometimes a little bit quicker, but fitness-wise, you had everybody covered in the entire race. You could ride the max that anybody could. It seems almost like what's the term I'm using? Like you wanted riders to ride you clean, but you didn't always ride riders clean, especially in the beginning of your career. But then you changed. So
I got older and more experienced, and my race etiquette got better. I mean, that comes with time.
Yeah. All right, I can tell you don't want to talk about this.
Well, no, I do. There are moments in my career, racing moments, that I definitely wasn't proud of, but I tried to make up for it. However, I keep saying however, I need to stop saying that. But at the end, I wouldn't go out of my way to be a jerk to someone.
Like to take somebody out. Like you're going to go in, make the pass. Sometimes there's a hard pass, and sometimes it gets. So that's where we end up, is where's that line? Where's it respectful and hard racing, and where is it dirty and
where are you going out of your way? Like this is what I classify as an aggressive, like a dirty pass. And when a guy goes out of his way to completely clean a guy out, and they're not racing for the lead, or they're in the, it's late in the race, or it's in a heat race for a non-transfer position, like that's the kind of stuff that I don't have a lot of patience for, is when I see moves done like that, like where people go out of their way to be a jerk when they're riding.
Is there a difference when it's, well, since we're going to Atlanta, a few years back when Reed was on the Honda Stewart, oh man, I can't even remember which year that was. Last lap, Reed cuts that turn like super sharp. James comes out of the turn. They come together. They both go down. It was literally one of the most exciting half a laps of Supercross. We were all in the booth, the three of us, Ralph and yourself. That was insane. Was Reed in the wrong there?
I mean, dude, there again, it's the last lap, and it's for a race win.
Okay, so now that changes it. If that was lap 3 of a heat race.
First of all, if it was lap 3 of the heat race, they wouldn't have done that to each other. That's how, so it's not a fair assessment. They have enough race etiquette. They wouldn't do something. like that in a heat race. You just don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So it's not even worth talking about. Like I'm not even going to comment on a hypothetical
Might be
situation
yeah.
Because that they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So I can't even, I wouldn't even be able to answer that question because that would never happen with those guys.
Yeah.
In a heat race for third place, it just.
I don't know. We may get caught in some double standards on some of this stuff, but
yeah,
for sure, when it's for the win, you got to go for it, right?
Well, the race win on the last lap, all bets are off pretty much.
Yeah. I'd love to hear from our listeners on social media about, because I feel like it's not everybody's on the same page with this subject.
Not even a little bit.
And it's like if you're the guy that makes the pass and goes on, you're like, what? Like I had the line, like he ran into the back of me. And then if you're on the opposite end, this is a totally different conversation. Dude totally took me out,
Dude, no kidding.
Oh man. All right, you ready to flip the page here?
Yeah, dude.
So we've had first off, I'd like to thank all of our listeners there for the first 2 episodes of Real Talk 447. It's been great. Lots of good feedback, even some bad feedback. Mostly, Ricky. I mean, most of it's directed towards you anyway, right? The mic situation. But I'm going to give you your second compliment of the show. I'm not even sure if I can do this. Am I allowed to give 2 compliments? Dude, you've got a different hat and shirt on this time.
You like that?
Yeah, your fashion prowess is just, you got a pocket square. You're actually wearing a clean shirt. You're crushing it, dude. You're a regular fashionista.
If you see the colored logo on my shirt, it actually matches my shorts, dude.
Oh yeah, you're color coordinated.
Well, you're color blind, so you wouldn't be able to see it. But
your lady must not have gone to work early today. She set that out on the bed for you.
Yeah, I can dress myself. Thank you, clown. Oh, dude, you know what? I can't wait. I'm just so excited to see you next week for the RCU, man. It's just. I can't wait for you to tear me down every single day, make fun of me, or
just belittle you in general. Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's what I want everyone to know that's what it's going to be like for us. So we should record ourselves all day long, just mic'd up. Mic'd up all day.
All right. So I'm going to jump ahead to our listener questions because this goes right into it. So
laughing at this question. This is a good one.
RVW, I'm skipping ahead. RVW025 on Instagram says, awesome first episode of your podcast. I think there was some other stuff in there. He wants to know, how was the relationship between you guys when you were racing? Greetings from Germany. How was our relationship? It was just like that. It was tough love. I was the elder. Yeah. I had to whoop you into shape a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, no, that's the thing. We never really raced against each other. 99 in Supercross, but we all know how that year was. So we never, I don't even think you and I battled it much in 99, did we?
No, we were usually going the opposite directions, and you were on the ground half the races.
Time you were going backwards, I was going forwards.
Yeah. Really, most of the time when I passed you, you were on the ground.
Oh, of course. Hey, let me ask you a question. Our listeners might like this. Was there amongst the riders that year, was there locker talk about me? Was there bets going on, what lap I would crash and stuff?
Oh, for sure.
Really?
For sure. Yeah. Everybody thought that you were out of control, for sure.
Dude, no respect, man.
Yeah. It's just, you had one.
Dude, I was way over my head on that year. I had no business being out there.
And we both feel like we could have used an extra year in the 125 class. We're going to cover that in a couple weeks, the whole point system and things like that, having more experience before you move up. But yeah, it was definitely rough. My first year in the big bike class was not good either. So
yeah, our relationship's always been great. Teammates, we both rode for Kawasaki a lot of our professional career, a lot of our motorcycling career from amateurs on up.
Yeah.
So we were great friends, and we didn't race a lot together. But it was fun. It was always a good time.
Yeah, I mean I think we're such opposites, especially in, let's say, 99, because I was on a different path. I was kind of going one way and you were going the other. And I do find it interesting that we have the friendship that we do now. So, and I want you to know that I appreciate it, Ricky. I appreciate your friendship, and I love you, brother.
Same to you, bud.
All right. So now we're out that. Get out of the way. I'm getting teared up here. All right. So AKMX1 on Twitter says, what's up with the nickname Fro? Unfortunately, I wasn't into Supercross at that time. Just started watching in the James Stewart era. So Denny Stevenson was at my house doodling on a piece of paper one day, and he doodles this thing, Jeffro is a homo. And it was this little piece of art. It ended up on the refrigerator, and then people, you're in the early 20s, you're giving all your buddies nicknames, and like Jeremy Albrecht, he was J-Bone, Budman. Well, Buddy Antoinette was Budman. We all end up with nicknames. And so I ended up with Jeffro, and then people started calling me Fro Daddy, and then it just ended up Fro. And now, actually, that's all. Like when I go to the races, 99% of the fans, that's all they ever call me is Fro. So, yeah, you got a good story where your nickname, the Goat, came from, and some people have said that you made that up, that it was a marketing tactic or something because you didn't have an image or something.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Why would I do something like that? I mean, that's
nobody except for Muhammad Ali calls himself.
That's the last thing that I would do. And in fact, I never really liked when people started calling me the Goat because I'm not the greatest. Have I won a lot? Absolutely. I will claim that one. But there's so many great guys out there, and I don't think anyone is the greatest. I think there's a lot of great guys.
Yeah. Matt Walker was out at the farm?
Matt Walker gave me that nickname. We were out. We practiced a lot together. Myself, Ezra Lusk at the time when he was still racing. And yeah, Matt was clowning around. I mean, you guys follow Matt on Instagram, anyways. He's motor mouth. I love listening to him.
Like last week. What was he doing last week?
I don't know. He was giving everyone a hard time about
the podium speeches. Speeches.
Yeah, he was. I was like, dude, you got to stop.
Dude, he was on it.
So he called me that, and then we were at Redbud. He called me that during the week, and we were at Redbud, and then he said it I don't know if we were in a press conference or whatever it was. And I'm like, gosh dang it, Matt, why'd you say something? And then it just spread like wildfire. And that's how it came. And it just has stuck ever since. So many people use it and call me that now. It's very flattering. It's a little too out there for me, like too cocky for me, just because, like I said, I have so much respect for everyone else out there that I just, I don't know. I just feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's like me being called Fro or Fro Daddy. It probably doesn't offend anybody. I mean, I hope it doesn't offend anybody out there with a real Fro, because it's just a nickname for me,
Yeah.
But hey, speaking of, and you get put, you end up with these sort of nicknames and these tags and everything. And I know where you're coming at as far as being the greatest of all time. Like you've certainly, your motocross championship, you never lost a championship except for the year that you rode a half year. More wins than anyone, all that. But in Supercross, McGrath has more wins and more titles. Okay. Yeah. And he was known as the king of Supercross. And I want to bring up that opening ceremonies at the U.S. Open the year when the promoters said, "Hey, Ricky's you're the champion now," and all this, and they wanted you to go out in opening ceremonies with the crown on, and you knew, like, hey, that's not my thing. That's McGrath's deal. That's not my deal. But talk about when.
They said, "Hey, this is what you're gonna do." I'm like, man, I don't want to do that. you're going to come down you're going to come down in this chair wearing a crown the whole bit, and then Jeremy's going to be over here. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I said, Jeremy is the king of Supercross. I said, no, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. Trust me, dude, you're the new champion. It'll be cool. Fans will love it. I'm like, no, I really don't want to. No, it'll be cool. It'll be cool. And at the time I was still pretty young, didn't stick up for myself. So I'm like, and it was, when the promoters back then told you to do something, you kind of had to listen to what they said, especially like opening ceremonies. You didn't want to mess up the show. So I did it, and man, was that a mistake.
Wait, what, the fans weren't vibing it?
Well, no, not even a little bit, dude. I mean, almost as much as me not vibing on you when you got a podium in Vegas and you thought you won the damn race. And you got third.
Did anybody throw any drinks or anything at you from the stands?
Oh, dude.
If you weren't in the middle of the stadium, you probably would have got hit.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, I mean, it wasn't even my idea. I didn't want to do that. And they made me do it. And then, I should have just stuck to my guns and, stood up for myself. I didn't. And man, did I get hammered for it. And it was frustrating because I was the same person I'd always been, man. I just want to go out there, win races, do the best I can, have a good time, and I don't need all the show.
Yeah, and I think especially at that time, you were very much, you had just got the farm a few years. You were very much about being at home, getting your work done, coming to the race, doing what you had to do, and then get back home and get back to work. And some of that pageantry of opening ceremonies. I mean, it'd be like if Dungy comes out or something, a few years ago, and everybody starts calling him the GOAT. It's like, well, no, there kind of already is a GOAT. Like, we've already tagged that guy. So,
yeah. Hey, one thing I want to say, like, silly season's about to start happening. We're going to start hearing about what riders are going to race what next year, what brand they might be going to, or some guys sticking to where they're at, some guy who's moving to 450 class, who's staying in the 250 class. It's going to get exciting. I haven't heard too many rumblings yet. What's that?
I said you love silly season. You are so all up in that. It's like these women that watch like Housewives and The Bachelor. That's like their thing. They're so into it. That's how you are in silly season. Between you and Jade, you guys know everything. I'm like, dude, I don't know who's doing shit. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, you're TV now, so nobody's gonna tell you anything. You're gonna be out of the loop now that you're full-time TV. Nobody's gonna tell you nothing, bro.
They see you coming, they walk the other way.
Track walk, nope. Just take off.
You get anything today at track walk? Not really.
Nothing I can use on TV. Sorry, Bondo.
That's right. Man.
Anything? I got one more listener question, but you got anything? Is there any? So you started the subject here, but is there anybody that right now that you're hearing some rumblings with?
I'm wondering what Adam Cianciarulo is going to do. That's what I'm wondering.
Well, one would think that he would go to Monster Energy Kawasaki, but you got Tomac and Savachi, who are both
you got Tomac and Savachi there. You got, I feel like Ken and Adam are really close. Could he end up over there? I don't know. Definitely that'd be a powerhouse team, wouldn't it, dude? With Ken and AC on the 450s.
Well, and then that leaves Seeley too. Do you see any scenario where any of these top level teams would have 3 premier guys, or do you think they just don't have the budgets for it anymore?
Ooh, I'm not so sure that these guys could have some 3 big name teams like that in this day and age with bike sales and stuff, and where that's at. Yeah. That would be a tall order. That's my opinion. KTM is I feel KTM is in the best position to do that, but I don't think so, Jeff. I really don't. Do you?
Well, and the haulers, the 18-wheelers that the race teams work out of, right now, like the lounge area, the rider lounge areas are really built for 2 riders, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what happens in that situation? Hey, can you put your stuff in the storage area? You know?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I got to build a whole new truck for it. So, all right. Well, that's we're getting into that zone, so it's going to give us a lot to talk about as we move towards the end of Supercross and figure out what we're going to do with this Real Talk 447 after that. Ricky and I have said, okay, let's go through the weekend or let's do a show after Vegas, after Supercross is over. We'll see how it goes. We'll assess it, and then we'll move on from there. So, so we have one last question here from a listener on Twitter. Eric D says, "What were the best and worst bikes you and Ricky had to ride as professionals?" Well, we covered the worst. No, well, one of the worst last week. Almost same, yeah. So my 1992 YZ125, the production bike, and we were pretty production at the time, was the slowest thing ever sold on a showroom floor. But Bob Oliver and the race team and everybody, we ended up making just the best engine. We had the best engine on the track, and we started with an engine that was just horrible. But that's all work that the race team can do. So those are kind of my 2. But what about you, Ricky?
Well, see, I'm going to sound like his political answer here. I was very fortunate, and a lot of this was by design, especially the older I got. My 97 and 98 KX125 was really fast. My split fire bikes, especially the 98. The 98 was awesome. 99 wasn't that good. My KX125, she was a little down on horsepower. 2000 wasn't that great. You know all about that the KX250 2000 bike.
Yeah, but you had the race team. That's your job as the rider, and the race team is to make it competitive. And it's actually these race teams, outside of now having some non-endemic sponsors, the funding for the race team is through research and development at the manufacturers. So the more that they develop from the race team guys, that's what they take back and make the production bikes with for the coming years.
So my 2002 CR250 was pretty good. My 2003 CR250 was awful. My 2004 CRF 450 was really, really fun to ride. I had a great time that year, just riding that machine. Two of my other favorites was my RM250, my 2005 Supercross RM250 was sick. That bike was so good. It was so fast. It handled really well. Just everything about the bike was so good. It really had no downfalls. It was the perfect bike. It's one of my favorites throughout my whole career. And then my 07 RMZ 450 was good. I did a lot of homework leaving when I left Honda to go to Suzuki, with just watching, listening, just quietly doing my homework behind the scenes, and I could tell that it was a good bike. And so that's when the opportunity arose. It was a great pick for me.
Yeah, and that your 252 stroke on Suzuki, that was the last 252 stroke, last 2-stroke that won a major title. Since then, It's all been 4-strokes in the 250 class or the 450 class. But is that the bike that you had that illegal gasoline in? Where was that at? St. Louis?
We go. No, it was never illegal. So.
It wasn't illegal.
I mean, no. We tested it.
Oh, but you got protested or something, right?
I got protested. This is what I always tell people this. Yeah, Fuelgate. Some people were calling it that. If you're going to stretch the rules a little bit, and most certainly, in my opinion, my preference, if I could stretch the rules on a bike when I was racing back then, it definitely wasn't going to be in the fuel area. I can tell you that much. It was going to be something chassis related.
Yeah, carburation at that time in the 252 strokes was just absolutely mint. I got disqualified for fuel though.
Did you?
Yeah, Indianapolis, 1996, my first year with Cowie, and I was just had a conversation with Bruce Sternstrom, who's the team manager. Now he's head of racing at Cowie. Last week I was on the phone with him, maybe 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about that. So we were pressing the limits, and VP Fuels was, that was the kind of era where they were really starting to get these blends right. And the AMA, because of like fire safety, they made us switch from plastic gas cans, like your typical 5-gallon gas can. You had to use metal gas cans. So this was right during the transition. Well, now that it's all, the dust is, settled on it all, and we had a whole like hearing on it with the AMA, and we proved their way of testing to be inaccurate. And it's like, oh, okay, we're good. It comes down. Nope, still disqualified.
Yeah, that's basically how mine played out. Like, dude, how was the procedure tested? Oh, well, it could have easily been over because of the testing situation.
Yeah. Well,
and we tested it. We tested from the same barrel. Roger did our own testing from the same barrel of fuel, and it came back fine. And they had found out that their testing procedures weren't as clean as they could have been, and the small amount that it was over, that it could have easily been.
Well,
that could have happened throughout the process. Probably very similar to your situation.
Yeah, but ours. So we had to go to those cans, those like red cans, the metal ones. So the lead in the welds threw everything off, and that's what it was. But I still got disqualified, and damn it, that was the second. That would have been another podium for me. My podium percentage would have, to even have one more podium, my percentage would have jumped drastically. Now I'm kind of pissed, come to think of it.
Yeah.
I should let it go. It was 22 years ago.
Dude, you got to let that shit go, man. And kind of like me, I need to let it go that probably you would have maybe beat me a moto in 2000.
At least one race.
Series. Maybe a moto.
We got that recorded. Yes, finally. That's going to be a highlight this week. Dude, we're coming to the end of the script here. Anything else you want to talk about on that?
No, I don't. I'm really excited about next week's guest. I think once you hear what he has to say, I think it's going to be minds are going to be blown. It's someone that you guys would never think. However, he has had an interesting role in the sport at one time, and I think this is going to be something really special, and I'm excited about it. Aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We've had a bunch of our listeners have asked about the censorship of CBD, cannabis, hemp-derived sports recovery products, which are banned from being on TV. So Ricky and I and our research team are going to get a lot of that together, maybe even have one of these athletes on the show and cover that. So, but we do appreciate all of the listener questions.
Hey,
so
I want to tell a funny story real quick.
All right.
So 1997, actually the season hadn't even started. I was riding for Split Fire Pro Circuit Kawasaki, and I was just kind of really spending some time with getting to know Mitch pretty good. And we got back to the shop, and he had been on me making sure that I'm eating properly and all that. And we got back to the shop. I was with David Pingree, and he's like, "Hey, let's not tell Mitch where we went for lunch." And so we got back to the shop. And he's like, "Where'd you go?" I said, "Oh, we went to Lucky Greek. It was a little like place right by the shop there." And he said, "You sure?" And somebody must have tipped him off. I don't know, like that we weren't there clearly. And I said, "Yeah, we went to Lucky Greek. I got a grilled chicken sandwich." He's like, "Are you serious?" He says, "No, you didn't." And he says, "Let me smell your fingers." Dude, I was busted.
In and out.
Grease. from hamburgers and fries. Just didn't wash my hands. He's like, no, you didn't, dude. You went to In-N-Out. Somebody, I mean, somebody saw him. Somebody saw me and relayed the message. He's like, you're lying to me, dude. I can smell it on your fingers. That's In-N-Out. I'm like, oh, you busted me, dude.
And anybody that knows, and it's because they use like peanut oil for the fries. I just can't see a rider like David Pingree influencing you negatively like that.
Oh, dude, he was a great teammate that first year, 1997. We had a lot of fun. He got a little ill, kind of like as the season progressed, and I started doing well and winning races. I don't know that he handled that too good. However, we can laugh and talk about it now.
Well, that may be a subject for when you finally get on him and Langston's new show, the Whiskey Throttle Show.
Yeah,
maybe we can get some.
I'd love to chew the fat with him about that. But
hey,
he was a great teammate to me and really took me under his wing early on. But that story was hilarious. And, dude, I got totally baited up. I don't know. Maybe Ping let the cat out of the bag and told Mitch, said, hey, smell RC's fingers. He's got In-N-Out all over him. But that was a fun story. He's like, he's like, no, you didn't. You didn't go there. Let me smell your fingers. And he smelled them like, oh, dude, that's In-N-Out. Like,
I can totally see him doing that. Hey, so when you started training with Eldon, you were on like a really strict diet. When I was back there, you were eating like grilled chicken, brown rice, like steamed vegetables, no like even salt on it or anything. I heard that when Jason Anderson was training with Eldon was like, hey, I want you to take a picture of your meal that you have whenever you eat and let me know what you're eating. I heard that he would take a picture of somebody else's food or something. Did you ever hear that?
I heard the same thing, and I remember when people love this. Eldon used to get so pissed when I would put ranch on my salad. Like that was really the only cheating that I did as far as, like throughout the week at my meals. I was like, dude, you got to draw the line somewhere. I'm eating so healthy and clean. I mean, for 7 years, I didn't cut any corners, nothing. I was on the nail. Now on off weekends, I'd enjoy myself and splurge a little bit.
Have a little ranch.
But dude, and I could always see, like, I know you guys got the camera on me. So like we're at the table, and if it came with a side of ranch, well, I had to get a side of ranch. He's like, no, get a side of ranch so you can regulate how much you put on there. But every time like I'd pour it on there, I could just see like he didn't want to look, but he was looking out of the corner of his eye.
Dude, the ranch really make, like if you had all the ranch or half the ranch, would that really make a difference? I mean, come on.
You know what? For me, it did. It probably did. At this level, you know how it is, man. A little bit goes a long way. It seems like it wouldn't, but the smallest little things, whether it's your dieting, whether it's your training, whether it's your on-track training, practice during the week, or it's your bike setup, a little bit goes a long way. It really does.
Yeah,
so
I mean, if I think back to the 90s when we were going to Havasu, 24 pack yourself, of Coors Lights. After that, you got to shut it down. That's a 24 pack in a day. You need to. You got to race next week.
You drink 24 beer. Dude, we have some good times together, and I know for sure you could.
Oh, no way. Hey, one day we were in Lake Havasu, and we got set up as teammates, and like Nathan Ramsey was there, Tommy Clowers, Budman. So you had a teammate. So you drink your beer. Your teammate had to match you, and then we kept track of it. And I'm going to say Budman was like at 20, and I believe Nathan Ramsey was his teammate. And so Budman's like, end of the day, he's still going strong. We got Ramsey, and like, yeah, he's done. Like, he's toast. We got like a wheelbarrow to get him back to where he's going. Oh man, those were crazy times.
Yeah, we've had some good times at it. Yeah.
Well, still more to come. I'm going to be back there at the Goat Farm, which happens to be one of our sponsors, the Ricky Carmichael University. We've got a camp going on next week, so we're going to do a broadcast from the farm. Hopefully, that's going to be our plan. And the Goat Farm back there, I'm still working on getting me a Husqvarna back there. I still don't have it dialed, and I'm like less than a week away. So
don't you know some people there?
You would think. I don't know. Did anybody back there ride a Husky? Nobody rides a 125 though. So
Yeah.
I could go for a 350.
Hey, I got that big double ready for you. You can blame me again.
Dude,
so
my shoulder still hurts.
Jeff overjumps this double at my house. He overjumped the double and then he blames me for it. Dude. Typical. You'd never want to take personal responsibility.
So I'm on a Husky 450, have a bike sent back there all set up. I go, hey, what about the big double against the trees there? He's like, dude, it's bigger than you think. You got to hit it harder than you think. Second gear, but you got to hit it hard. So me and Urquhart from Australia are riding. We're both vet riders, and I'm like, damn, dude, it looks pretty big. And it's like a freestyle size jump essentially. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do it, ride for like 15, 20 minutes. I'm just gonna go ahead, do it, get it out, out of the way. I jumped this I hit it second gear, and I overjump it so far. I didn't even hit the landing. I land, loop out, like my shoulder's still injured. This is gonna be a lifelong injury. Hit my back. Ricky's like, what did you do? You said hit it hard. Dude. I may not even jump it next week. So anyway, you want to laugh at me some more?
Hey, were you mid-air and you're like, or you just like, dude, son of a gun.
Oh, yeah. Like, you know that feeling? You're like, oh, shit, this is not good. Is it going to be the wrists or the ankles? One of them are done.
He landed. So I didn't even know you'd crashed.
Dude, I was in the turn.
We were all in break. And then you come back and your bike's all tweaked up. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, dude, I overjumped the double. I landed in the corner. He hit and then one of the fathers of the riders out there is like, dude, he overjumped it so bad and hit so hard that you flew off. When you landed, you bounced and flew off the back of the bike.
Oh, and whacked, and my back was hurt. Yeah. Well, I know my place these days. My eyesight's going a little bit. My ego's totally in check. I'm 48, so it ain't going to happen. That's why I ride
an eyesight problem. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I ran out of talent. Well, anyway, we're going to be back there at the Goat Farm for this Ricky Carmichael University. It's a Daytona prep camp. We've got from the little guys all the way up to some guys on big bikes and girls as well. So I'm looking forward to it, Ricky.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. It's always a fun week. We're going to make the best of it. Try to help these riders hone in on their skills, make some improvements, make them safer riders, faster riders, and we're going to have a good time doing it. And really, it's about an experience. We're going to have put on a great experience for all these great athletes.
Hey, is Meanie Jeannie going to be out there? Give us the front brake move that she does. Like, pull that front brake. Like, get that.
She's like grabbing us, like you got your elbows up. She's like this. She's like, you got to grab the front brake.
Okay, it worked for you. All right. So, hey, as always, send your questions to @Talk447 on Twitter. Of course, you can hit us up, Ricky Carmichael, and @Emig47 on all the other social media sites. Ricky, it's been a good show. Third one is in the books.
Some good stories, some good analysis, and like I said, I know we've probably ticked some people off, but you know what? It'll be all right.
That's real talk. All right, so as we leave you, Miguel's going to tee up the Andrew McKeague Band, and we'll listen to the track This Old Lie. Living this old life. Thanks, everybody.